Hello everyone, today is June 20th, 2011, and it's a nice sunny day, so I thought I'd give you a little mid-June tour of the garden. Some things are coming along quite nicely, other things aren't coming along quite nicely. Here, as before, are my kind of throwaway rows that I did when it was too wet, and the weeds kind of overtook this, but there are a row of beets there. So hopefully we'll get something out of that. The onions, the first row of onions are doing very well. I didn't count, but I'd imagine there's at least 40 onions there. The potatoes have really taken off. You can actually see a row. It's not the straightest row by any means, but you can see the plants, the healthy plants that actually have come up, and they're just growing like crazy. I'm very happy with that. The tomatoes and the eggplant are doing so-so. The first one here is doing a lot better than the second one, even though they were the same size when they were planted. I'm not really sure why. And then the tomatoes, the row of tomatoes, there's 25 tomatoes, and those I recently caged those last week, and they're all doing very well. I pinched off all the suckers, which the suckers, see if I can find one where there is one, right there. If you can see, in between the main leaf axes, or axes, whatever, there's a little thing starting to grow, and that's a side shoot. And things that I've read is that if you take those side shoots off, you'll get bigger and healthier tomato plants, or bigger and healthier tomatoes. So these are doing very well. A couple of them are doing a lot better than others, but overall I'm happy with it. The peppers are another story. I think they're very small, other than the 4 or 6 hot peppers I have here, which are the taller ones. Other than that, the row is looking mighty small. Not much change. I do believe it's because of the weather. At night we're still getting down into the 50s, Fahrenheit, which would be around what, maybe 10 Celsius, something like that. And from what I've understood and read is that peppers love hot weather, like nice warm nights. They are growing a little bit though, some of them. Like these couple here are doing really well, and then you have a couple here that aren't doing so well. But I'm just going to keep, like here's a really small one. Hopefully you can see that. Like that one hasn't grown very much at all. I'm not exactly sure, other than the heat factor at night. I mean, they're getting adequate water. I'm watering them maybe 3 times, 4 times a week, keeping the soil, moist for them. Who knows? Anyway, below the peppers are my squash, and these are really taking off. As you can see right there, this is I call them the first true leaves, the furry ones, with the jagged edges. All squash, cucumber, and the like, they all get that. All of the hills or mounds that I have, I think there's 30 odd amount, are up except this one. I'm not sure if the seeds just never came up or maybe the birds got at them. But I have your crookneck yellow, I have straight yellow, I have a patty pan, like a spaceship saucer type, and I have the regular green zucchini. The green ones are the ones that are down here, I'm pretty sure of, and those are really doing well. As you can see, 4 or 5 out of 5 plants are up and growing very well. Once they get a couple more leaves on them, maybe another week or 2, I'll thin them out. And here's my last one. I ran out of row, but I had space here for one. And down here, while I'm down here, is my, well, kind of all over the place, but hopefully you can keep up. This is my broccoli. I have 12 broccoli and 6 cauliflower. The cauliflower, which are the ones on the end there, see if I can zoom in for you. They're not doing the best. I don't know if you can see that. They're kind of brownish. The leaves, they're not really growing that well. Again, I've never grown cauliflower before, so I'm not really sure if they're okay or if that's a bad sign. But the broccoli is doing very happy with the broccoli. I have one freak broccoli. Like this is what they're mostly. They're this size. Then you plant out, and then we have one this size. So far the bugs haven't hit it too bad. There are a couple holes here and there, but there's nothing on the bottom of the leaves yet. And down in there is probably starting to form a little head of broccoli. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this can produce. Alright, we're back to the top of the garden here. And here we have the rows of beans, peas, and cucumber. The first row here, if you can remember, are my yellow bush beans, and they're doing excellent. Right next to that is my first row of, what are they, stringless, I think they're Blue Lake stringless pole beans. They're doing okay. The plants that are up are doing well, as you can see right there, nice healthy plants. But the germination rate of these weren't very good this year. As you get further down the row, if you can see that, it's a lot thicker, but hopefully we still get some production. The weeds have started coming in. Thankfully it's not the grass, it's just other kind of weeds. So I'll have to get the hoe out in the next couple of days and try to take care of that before it gets too bad. And then we come down, sorry about my shadow, the sun, it's about maybe 11 in the morning, so the sun's like right behind me. And this is my second row of pole beans. These were planted about a week and a half after these, about 10 days. And they're catching up. They're doing well. Again, the germination is a little sparse. I'm not sure if bugs got after, or maybe the birds got after, or it might have just been a spell of cold weather that we had come through here that kind of killed some of them off. And then here are my peas, which you see I already have my trellis assembly up. The peas are doing excellent. I didn't think they were going to come up at all this year because it took them so long, but I believe it was just due to the weather. But these little pea plants, these are just super sugar snap peas, and they're doing very well. They're actually starting, some of them are actually starting to grab onto the bottom rope with the trellis, and that's excellent. And over here we have the cucumber. The cucumber, it came up very well. We had lots of germination, but then they just started to die off. As you can see, you know, I have one plant there that seems to be making it. It's putting on its second set of leaves, and then there's a whole space here where there's none. And I planted these probably, 3 inches apart, 4 inches apart, just so I know I would have a decent germination. But the ones that seem to have made it, are doing well, and then the ones that did come up in the beginning haven't really done well at all. As for the cucumbers, in both rows of pole beans, as you can see, I have the poles in for those, the stakes, but I don't have any trellis system set up yet. Reason because I'm waiting until they get maybe a couple inches taller, and eventually I can thin them out, and then I'll put up the trellis rope. Same thing with the cucumber. These aren't ready to climb on anything yet. Hopefully in a couple weeks they will take off. We have some warm weather, and then I can erect the trellis system, and they can start climbing up. And now I have the 6 rows of sweet corn. This is, I believe, Fleet and Welcome are the 2 brands. I believe I think they're a sugary enhanced type, which from what I've read will give you a nice good flavor. So anyway, hopefully you can see that the weeds again have started to take over a little bit, but some of this I can't get the weeds out because the clumps are so big that weeding isn't really going to do anything. But as you can see, especially these rows here, the corn is coming up. This is 600 feet, roughly 6 100 feet rows of corn, so hopefully that's a big enough block for them to cross-pollinate or pollinate with each other, what have you, and I can get some corn out of that. And now we come down to the melons. The cantaloupe, the honeydew, the watermelon, and then later down is the pumpkins and gourds and things like that. But unfortunately, this first row here, from the stake all the way up here, are my summer melon blend. And out of, I think there's roughly maybe 10-12 hills or little humps, only not even half of those have germinated. Here's some that are very small still. These 3 hills didn't germinate anything, and it's been, again, sorry about the shadow, it's been very sparse, so I'm very unhappy about that. I'm not sure if it was just the poor soil conditions, if I wasn't adequate about my watering or consistent enough, but with saying that, I watered the melons and that type of family all gets watered this section at the same time. I water all this, whenever I water these, this whole section at once. And you get down here, these are the watermelon, I believe, and almost every of the 5 hills I almost had 100% germination. So I really don't understand. And then I get down here with the pumpkins. Oh, sorry about the shadow again. With the pumpkins, and they're doing even better. Some are doing really well. And then we get down to, I'm not exactly sure the different kinds. I have it written down in the house. But these are the pumpkins, and now these, they're putting on their second set of leaves, their first true leaves there, the furry ones. And then with the jagged edges, those are the ones that'll start vining. And they're doing excellent. Nice healthy plants. And again, these will be thinned out probably to 1 or 2 per section, probably in a few weeks. And then down here are more pumpkins, and these are a different variety, obviously, because they're a lot smaller, but still they've come up. All right, now we're at the second section, the bottom section of the garden, and I have 2 3/4 rows of onion, and they're doing very well. There's probably, I'd say maybe, I don't know, close to 100 onion in here, maybe even more, which I'm very happy about that they've come up fairly well. The ones, the good sets that I bought, the ones that I put in that are good, almost all of them have come up, which I'm very happy about. And then down here, this is 1 1/4 row of yellow bush beans, just as I have in the long row. I had some seed left over, so I decided to put them down here, and they're doing excellent as well. Now these 2 rows here, or this row and a half, no, 2 rows, these are carrot. And as everybody knows, carrots take a long time to germinate, but as you can see down there, if you can see that, they are starting. So hopefully I get a decent carrot crop this year that I can feed to the horses, and also sell for people to feed to their horses. And then here's a row and a half of Swiss chard, and that's coming along nicely. As you can see, the row has come up. And then next door here is another row of cucumber. I had some leftover, I believe Market More 76 seeds, so I figured if I don't get a good crop out of the long row, hopefully maybe down here the soil conditions are a little better, the moisture may be a little better, and hopefully I get something. And as you can see here, these have germinated like crazy. I would say probably at least 85–90% germination. I put these in thick because I planted these after the other ones came up, in which they came up very sparsely, so I figured if I plant more, I can always thin them out. And these are doing slightly okay. Again, you know, they're small, but they are starting to put out their you know, second set of leaves. And then one final row, I'm gonna go over here. These are my gourds. I have a small professional mix, and I have a crown of thorns, which are vibrant different colors that remind me of like the ocean. And these, again, these have really taken off. You can see the second set of leaves coming on there. And again, these will be, I was thinking of trellising these, but again, I'd have to buy more poles for that. So I think I may just thin these out to maybe, I don't know, 1 every 3 foot, and just let them take over this whole area. This whole area, there's nothing in. This is just this mound here is where I'm gathering my soil for transplanting and for filling in holes around the farm. But this whole section, there's nothing in, so these gourds and the pumpkins up there can just take over all of this, and I won't have a problem with that. So that's pretty much the tour of the garden. Everything is up, put it that way. Some things aren't doing as well as I wish they would be, or I thought they would be doing, but I can only do so much. You know, I can water the days that I can water, and then other days Mother Nature has to cooperate. And this season it's either been too wet or too dry or too cold or too hot.